the Hollywood Unapologetic Podcast with Orlando Delbert, Filmmaking Essentials.
And today we have a really interesting mission, I think. We're looking at Sun Tzu's The Art of War, ancient military strategy, and seeing how it connects, surprisingly maybe, with the realities of making movies in Hollywood.
Sounds fascinating. What sources are we pulling from?
Well, we're looking at business ideas from The Art of War itself, the idea of deception in warfare and film, like in Catch Me If You Can. Then there's negotiation in film production. We found some interesting stuff there. And also this book, Pollyanna's Tear-Soaked Battlefields of Hollywood.
The Art of War and Hollywood. Where do we even start?
It's actually pretty striking how relevant some core strategies still feel. Let's kick off with deception. Sun Tzu's famous line, right? All warfare is based on deception.
Yeah, that immediately made me think of that scene in Catch Me If You Can. Frank Abagnale Sr. talking about the Yankees.
Yeah.
How their pinstripes are a distraction. It's not just skill, it's this strategic illusion.
Exactly.
So how does that kind of thinking, deception in that broader sense, play out in filmmaking? It's not like they're actually sneaking up on other studios, right?
Well, maybe not literally sneaking, but think about marketing, how a studio might carefully leak some information but keep the big twists totally secret. It builds buzz in a controlled way.
Okay, managing expectations.
Right, or even within the story itself, using misdirection, leading the audience one way before a big reveal. It's all about shaping perception strategically to get the result you want, whether that's, ticket sales or just a powerful audience reaction.
Interesting. So it's more subtle, about information control. What about leadership? That's another big theme in The Art of War that our sources mentioned.
Oh, definitely. Sun Tzu puts a huge emphasis on the leader's ability to make swift, informed decisions, especially when things go sideways, which, let's face it, happens all the time on a film set.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So a good leader needs that clear vision, but also empathy for the crew. They need to be decisive, but flexible enough to adapt. It's about balancing authority with collaboration. Think of a director facing a sudden crisis, like losing a location last minute.
Right, they have to act fast, keep everyone focused.
Exactly. Keep morale up, keep the project moving. That's Sun Tzu in action, really.
Okay, makes sense. Now, Sun Tzu is also huge on planning, right? Like intense calculation before the battle. How does that map onto making a movie?
Oh, it maps almost perfectly. Sun Tzu basically says victory comes from lots of calculation beforehand, defeat from little. Filmmaking is calculation, especially in pre-production.
That seems critical.
It is. The Pollyanna book actually gives this great example of an animated film. They apparently storyboarded every single camera angle meticulously. Took ages.
Wow, every single angle.
That's the story. It highlights that intense level of planning, budgeting, scheduling, casting, locations, everything. You're trying to foresee problems, optimize everything before you spend the big money on shooting. It's minimizing risk on the battlefield of the set.
That animation example really drives it home. Okay, what about knowing yourself and your enemy? How's that relevant to Hollywood?
Well, in business terms, knowing yourself is about honestly assessing your strengths, weaknesses, your resources, limitations. Like a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats.
Right, standard business practice.
Exactly. And knowing your enemy in Hollywood. That's about understanding the competitive landscape. Who are the other players? What films are they making? What's clicking with audiences right now? Where are the market opportunities or threats? It's all about smart positioning.
So, understanding your place in the whole ecosystem. You mentioned Sun Tzu talks about Earth, too, which got interpreted as operational efficiency.
Yeah, think of Earth as the terrain, the ground you're fighting on. In film, that's your production process. Operational efficiency means optimizing that terrain.
How so?
Could be streamlining workflows, using technology better, like maybe smarter scheduling software or communication platforms, perhaps the kind of thing Film a Stage helps with managing equipment efficiently. It's about making the whole production machine run smoothly, cost-effectively. Less waste, less friction.
Okay, optimizing the process itself. And the last principle from Sun Tzu we should touch on is adaptability, flexibility. Feels pretty crucial for Hollywood.
Oh, absolutely essential. The industry changes so fast, doesn't it? New tech, streaming shifts, audience tastes evolve constantly. Sun Tzu stressed adapting to the battlefield. Filmmakers and studios have to be agile.
Ready to pivot?
Exactly. Ready to embrace streaming, try new genres, maybe even change plans mid-production if something unexpected happens. Rigidity is a recipe for failure there.
Okay, so Sun Tzu gives us this powerful strategic toolkit. But then we have this other source, Pollyanna's Tear-Soaked Battlefields of Hollywood.
It's the dose of harsh reality. While Sun Tzu is about winning through strategy, Pollyanna is about surviving the human element, the potential pitfalls within the Hollywood system. Greed, poor ethics, how people can try to exploit you. It says you need more than just a good plan. You need to be prepared for some potentially difficult or unethical behavior. It does emphasize preparation, like Sun Tzu, but really hammers home the need for resilience, like deep inner strength. And building a solid support system, you can't go it alone. It also flags that seemingly innocent question, what do you want to do?
How is that a pitfall?
It can be used to pigeonhole you or to dangle a vague possibility without any real commitment. Someone might use your answer to sort of manage you without actually offering a genuine opportunity that aligns with your real goals.
Okay. So you need to be clear about your own path and wary of how others might try to define it for you.
Exactly. Don't just jump at anything out of desperation. The book also gets really practical about teamwork. It stresses basic professional etiquette, respecting everyone on the crew, fostering that team spirit.
Like a military unit almost.
The book actually makes that comparison because of the long hours, the stress, and this ties into what we saw about negotiation too. Treating the crew fairly, negotiating respectfully, like the Film Must Stage blog highlighted, is vital for teamwork. You need that trust to execute a vision.
So it brings the high-level strategy right down to the day-to-day human interactions.
And crucially, from a business standpoint, it stresses that making the film isn't enough. You need a distribution plan. It's a business. You need to figure out how to actually reach an audience. Otherwise, what's the point, commercially speaking?
Right. Art needs an audience, and business needs a plan to find it. So this creates a real tension, doesn't it? You've got Sun Tzu's strategic principles, and then Pollyanna's description of this treacherous environment. How do you reconcile those?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the balancing act. You need to be strategic plan, adapt, understand the competitive forces, maybe even use a bit of that deception in marketing or negotiation.
Use the Art of War toolkit?
Yes. But you also have to navigate the reality Pollyanna describes. You need that resilience, that ethical compass, that awareness of the potential downsides and difficult personalities. You have to be savvy, but stay true to your own values and vision. It's about strategic application with integrity, within a system that isn't always virtuous.
So, pulling this all together for you, what's the main takeaway from blending these perspectives?
I think the key insight is that success in a challenging field like film, or really any competitive creative industry, requires both. You need the strategic mind, the planning, the leadership, the adaptability Sun Tzu teaches, but you also need the grounded wisdom. Pollyanna offers the resilience, the ethical awareness, understanding the human dynamics, the potential for disillusionment.
It's strategy plus survival skills.
You could say that. Understanding the battlefield strategically, but also knowing how to navigate the trenches in the mud and maintain your own sense of direction.
A powerful combination. So here's a final thought for you to reflect on. In whatever field you're navigating, how can you apply timeless strategic wisdom, like Sun Tzu's, while staying grounded, ethical, and true to your own goals, especially when things get tough or cynical? You can find more insights on navigating the entertainment industry and achieving success in Orlando Delbert's work, including his book, Pollyanna's Tear-Soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, a survival guide against the cynicism and the hypocritical, and of course, the Hollywood Unapologetic platform. And always remember, you are the key to your own success. You are the new Hollywood generation.
Be informed, be prepared, and most importantly, be great.
That's it. Be great. Good luck out there.
See you next time.